Hey guys, so today we're going to continue on with Everlasting Summer. We just got back from finding the girl that we were looking for so we could play cards. So we will continue with that, and I guess we're going to play cards. I also found out that there's actually a sensor on this game, and I didn't realize it, so we took it off. Well, I took it off. I guess we didn't. And yeah, so that's just kind of what Steam does. They kind of put sensors on things every now and then, especially with nudity and stuff, but it should be off now. And I can go into the gallery and show what we missed. There was one thing when you walked in on the counselor, and there's a picture there, but that's the only thing that we missed with the sensor. Okay, so we'll get started. In a minute, we were both back at the canteen. Everyone looked at Electronic, so he cleared his throat. Each round consists of one game. In case of a draw, you replay the game. After this, the loser drops out and the next round begins. Since the number of volunteers, he looked at me. Since the number of players is just 8, we will only have 3 rounds. Is everyone clear? The crowd cheered. And what are the prizes? The prizes, what are they? Ilyana, cut it out. Slava stepped forward and tried to catch Ilyana. I won't rest until the prizes are mine. It seemed like the girl alone had enough energy to warp jump into Alpha Centauri. Prizes, prizes, she repeated it over and over. Stop it! Slavia tried to reason with her. Electronic seemed to be getting dizzy from all this running around. Let's start already, I said calmly and added to Ilyana, or you won't get any prizes. It looks like my argument got through to her, so she took her place. Slavia followed her, giving me a grateful smile as she passed. The pioneers finally settled down. I approached the table that Lena was sitting behind. You don't mind? She looked up and blushed. Don't worry, I don't know the rules myself. And how can I be sure that it's not only myself? I sat down. Turns out we'll have to play the first round together. Yes. Finally, Electronic started to explain the rules. I look at the cards carefully. There are exactly 6 of them in front of you. I hope everyone knows how to count. Now let's look at them. After everyone has a look at their cards, Electronic moved on. The rules are similar to poker. I hope everyone knows how to play. I knew the rules, but I wasn't sure about the others. First of all, it's the top card, then 1 pair, then 2 pairs, then 3 of a kind, and so on and so forth. No flushes or straights, though. In the first round, you'll choose a card in which you like to take from your opponent. In turn, your opponent can choose to swap 2 of his cards around twice, or he can choose not to do so if he doesn't need the card in which you are taking. Take note that your opponent can see which cards are trading places. In the second step, your opponent takes the card he chooses, and so on. I think it's pretty clear. It wasn't too clear to me. Hey you, Einstein! Ilyana yelled from her table. I didn't get a thing. You'll figure it out as we go. Electronic went to the table with a diagram, leaving Ilyana to smolder in solitude. You go first. I hoped I could get my mind around the game fast enough. Lena, more perplexed than usual, reached out for my cards. In the middle of the table, her hand stopped. Will you... Oh yeah, I should be projecting my cards. What was it Electronic said? To try and confuse my opponent, I can swap 2 of my cards. Twice. Or I can choose not to. Should I protect it or not? By the way, I can also agree to give her the card she chooses straight away. Otherwise, Lena can change her mind and take another card if she wants to, or she might not. Oh boy. I'm actually really bad at poker. So we're gonna want things were becoming clear, or at least comprehensible. Now it's my turn. I can take back my card for her, or I can choose another one. Oh, I see. So you don't get to... Nina can try and protect her cards, but if I watch her closely, I can take the card I choose regardless of her movements. I made it. Electronic, who was silently watching our game, nodded in approval. It looks like we're getting somewhere. Now, during the round, turns can trade cards 3 times. Keep an eye on each other. Penetrate your opponent with your eyes. I chuckled. Penetrate. God, you're so pervy in this game. What's so funny? Oh, never mind. I tried to keep a straight face. He stared at me for a moment and moved on. And when we turn the cards up, we'll see whose hand is better. Electronic went back to his diagram. These cards are kind of strange. So you want pairs, I guess. It's frustrating to lose anyway. I left the canteen. It's still too early to sleep, and a short walk looked like a good idea. Where should I head to? Oh, we get to pick where we go. Could go scene, infirmary, the square, the bus stop, the boathouse, the beach. Let's go to the beach. Beaches are fun. I came to the beach. I was not in the best mood and I really had no desire to swim, but I came to the water's edge to try and clear my head. The water was warm. It seemed like it was cooling down after such a hot day. Well, perhaps some other time I will come back and swim. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so Ugla must have been sleeping already. Strangely enough, she waited for me yesterday. I entered the cabin quietly and stripped and laid on the bed. When you think about it, my situation hasn't gotten any clearer today. In fact, I spent the whole day doing useless stuff. I would have never even thought about doing something like this in the real world, though I had plenty of time. How much time would I have here in total is still a mystery. Maybe an eternity, or maybe there are only a few minutes left. I didn't want to think about the past, about how I got to this camp. For the first time in a long time, I felt really tired. Not emotionally tired, but also physically tired, physiologically tired, and God knows how else tired. I just wanted everyone and everything to shove off. I starting with my own thoughts. I wanted this mess to somehow resolve itself, or at least without my active participation. And what if I'm stuck here forever? Then I'll have to get used to it. So just like that, I'm not ready. Ahem. My consciousness slowly drifts away from me, and it's become progressively harder to concentrate on something distant. Perhaps it's better to wait until tomorrow. I roll over and fall asleep. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up exhausted both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredibly lucid images in your dream, as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists. Well-paid actors and multi-million-dollar visual effects, and then you wake in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, to restore the images shown by my relaxed brain, but part of my memory was empty, either archived or formatted completely. It's 7 a.m. according to the clock. I seem to be an early bird today. Oogla is still sleeping, wrapped tightly in her blanket. Wrapped tightly in a hot summer? Humph. I got up, stretched, and went to the mirror to have a look at myself. I'd better shave. Strange idea. Before, twice a month was enough, but now nothing depends on the way I look. I haven't found a razor anyway. Why would I need it if I look like I'm 17 at most? So, breakfast can't start earlier than 9, and this means that I have plenty of time, which I can spend walking and washing, for example. The water did not seem as cold as the previous day. On the contrary, its refreshing coolness helped me brace up and come back to reality, whether these events could be called real. The tooth powder didn't seem to be such an outdated thing. A quick thought struck me that it's not that different from toothpaste. When I returned to the cabin, Oogla was already up. She was standing in front of the mirror fixing her hair. "Good morning, Simeon." "Good morning." Because of the lack of sleep, my head was still singing. My thoughts were all jumbled together. However, I didn't regret waking up instead of my usual habit of sleeping in for 2 or 3 hours more. "How come you got up so early?" "It just happened." "And no neckerchief again. I'll do it myself. Not a big deal. I'm on my way to the canteen." "I don't think so. Do it now. Did you forget about the lineup before breakfast?" "How could I ever forget?" "What's the lineup going to be about today?" "We'll discuss the agenda for the day." "So what's the agenda?" "Frankly speaking, I don't care what might be on the agenda for our courageous pioneer troop. I was mostly interested in where our brave leader was going to send our little pioneer army for the following 12 to 15 hours, or maybe I could manage to avoid enemy locations. "You'll find out at the lineup." She gave me a Will smile. "Oogla, my stomach's getting upset. I'd rather, I believe it's okay to miss lineup once. It could get all nasty if I failed to control it right there." "Where did all this courage come from?" "You have 5 more minutes." "I'm afraid I'll need more time. Could you tell me right now, please?" "Sure, I'll try just in case it all goes down." "Oh, fine. On our list today is cleaning up the camp locations, organizing the books in the library, and some other minor tasks. Of course, we have a ball in the evening." "Watch yourself. You must take part in these camp activities today." "You bet." "Definitely. Now I'd rather... Come on, let's hit the road." I came out of the cabin and hid in the bushes behind it, waiting for Oogla to leave. Actually, I didn't have any particular reason to behave this way, but my voice kept telling me that I had nothing to do at the lineup. After the camp leader left, I went back to the cabin and decided to wait for breakfast there. Well, I'm not planning on taking part in community life today. Cleaning and organizing. That's not what someone in my situation should be doing. 2 days have passed and I'm right where I started. All the residents seem to be perfectly ordinary people. They haven't they weren't involved in any conspiracy, they weren't communicating with aliens, and I had no idea about time warps. Of course, each one of them is particular, and those particularities don't seem out of line at all. Moreover, if I had met any of these pioneers in my familiar world, I wouldn't suspect a thing wrong. They seem to be even more normal and natural than, let's say, yours truly. The line of reasoning was quite logical. The illogical part was the absence of answers. Ordinary people in an extraordinary place. I have heard and seen that already somewhere. Dozens of pioneers, or even more, live their familiar lives and do their regular stuff day by day. They don't understand that the world around them is not what it looks like. Okay. But this is their point of view. As for me, I'm not acquainted with the world of the Slavonyak camp and its residents, even if they seem to behave the normal way people would under certain circumstances. I have to decide here and now, are those people involved in what's happening to me? Can they give me any answers? Or do I have to seek the truth somewhere else? It seems I overdid it a bit with the thinking. There's no usual crowd of hungry pioneers near the canteen. Or even inside the canteen. Most of them probably had their breakfast before 9 a.m. That's even better. Two's company, three's the crowd. Lena was sitting in the farthest corner of the canteen, lazily picking with her fork at an amorphous lump that vaguely resembled porridge. Having a breakfast with her seemed like a good idea. We can chat in peace, or at least try to have one. I was on my way to the table when suddenly someone grabbed me by the sleeve. Xenia, the librarian. Get your meal and come, we need to talk. What are you waiting for? I was a bit confused. Pardon, is it a bit too sudden? What's wrong? Get your meal and sit down. I suppose she considers her behavior to be completely normal. Sorry, but I promised Lena. Fine, wait a minute. I think we'll go with sorry, I promised Lena. I was sure that Lena wouldn't mind if I sat next to her. Hold on, wait a second. Sorry, maybe later. I gently loosened my sleeve from her grip and headed to the farthest corner of the canteen. Xenia was shouting something in my direction, but I tried to ignore her. Hi, good morning. Having heard the librarian shouting, Lena had been stealing glances at me for a while. Morning. Strangely enough, she didn't blush. She smiled instead. Would you mind if I join you? I'll get my meal and come back in no time. Yes, sure. In a minute, I was already standing in front of her with a simple set of dishes on a tray. Porridge, 2 poached eggs, 2 pieces of wheat toast, a boiled sausage, a glass of compote, and made of unknown fruits and berries. Have a nice meal. Thanks. I was trying to eat as neatly as I could, no chomping, smearing the food, or spilling the compote all over myself. It seems that eating like a human and not like a hog wasn't hard at all. As usual, Lena remained silent, which means that I should start the conversation. Going to the dance tonight? Probably. She was silent for a while. And you? I don't know yet. Though I didn't want to go there at all. I didn't like dance parties since my school days. Why so? What do you mean? My mind was still far away in my school times. Why don't you want to go? I didn't say that I don't want to. Okay then. But if you're inviting me... Lena turned red and looked away. I don't really... Sorry, just kidding. I felt confused. I'd better not joke like that. Fine. Lena said indifferently as she focused on her food while her face turned even more red. Why am I stuck on this dance if we have nothing else to talk about? But wait, is there actually anything? By the way, maybe you know what Xenia wanted to ask me? Huh? I mean, I just came in. She wanted something from me. I don't know. I see. The conversation reached a dead end, so I tried to seem fully focused on my meal. Lena finished her breakfast first. I should go. See you later. See you. I was finished chewing on the sausage, which tasted like a twisted pair of cable. I wonder if they have internet access here. I guess not. A pioneer sitting at the next table noticed me talking to myself and stared at me. I smiled and waved at him in return. After such a friendly greeting, he, for some reason, left the canteen quickly without finishing his breakfast. Done with the food, time to search for some clues. Some time later I finally came to the infirmary. I have nothing to do in that place. Though the nurse seemed quite caring, it's best to keep distance from her. Such benevolence is actually scary. She may know something, but I just hadn't the courage to enter the infirmary. Moreover, I had no reason to, not a single one. Immersed in my own thoughts, I didn't notice the nurse who was standing on the porch. Hi there, Pioneer. She came closer. You must be sick. Did you come for some medicine? No, I was just wandering around. Oh, a truant, I see. But if you're here, I have a serious task for you. I gave her a look of inquiry. The word task made me feel uneasy. It sounded like something inevitable. The nurse smiled spitefully. You both will have to help me take inventory of the supplied medicine which arrived today. Both? Who are we? Perhaps I misheard. But what word could be confused with both? Hi again. Lena emerged from behind the nurse's back. It seemed strange that I hadn't noticed her until now. Come here after dinner. I have explained everything to Lena. She will tell you what to do. Medicine, huh? Supplied today? But Ugla told me that no bus would arrive for the next couple days. So there were visitors to our camp today? Yes, they arrived from the city this morning. Why are you asking? Just curious. Alright then, Pioneer. So tonight after dinner you'll be here. Lena was barely noticeable the whole time. Surely she had remained invisible like a skilled ninja. I could do it on my own. Strange, she seemed more spirited at lunch. No way, there's lots of boxes, and Pioneers are always ready. Isn't that so, Pioneer? She gazed at me and smiled menacingly. I don't want to spend the whole evening doing something like this. I've also got more important things to do, but rejecting this request would seem really improper. If it wasn't Lena who was standing there, I would definitely think my way out. See, I'll come, Ugla asked me to help her tonight. We'll go. Nice. That's how a true pioneer should answer. Even after these words, I barely came a step closer to the be prepared, always prepared motto. Then, you can go. I looked at Lena, who was staring at the ground. I guess that whole time she spent staring at the ground was enough to learn everything there is to know about life and habits of different insects. Plus, Lena likes to read, so she probably read many biological, botanical, and so on books. Perhaps she wanted to become an entomologist. Where will you head next? Lena's words drew me away from my obscure thoughts. I must have been standing at the square for some time with my speculations about bugs, and my speculations about bugs' lives were only an attempt to escape this awkward situation. Though, why did I see it as awkward? Just don't forget, alright? Don't forget what? Well, tonight, after dinner at the infirmary. Her face got slightly grumpy. Look to it. No way, that's impossible. Alright, after dinner, I'm at your service. I thought too late. At my words, Lena blushed even harder. I need to find a way to ease the situation. Why did the nurse ask you to do it? I don't know. I was just sitting on the bench reading a book, and she came and... It's smart to ask a reliable person who would never say no. Okay. Well, then after dinner. Okay. I'll be off then. Yeah, sure. She walked off somewhere beside the clubs, and I stood at the square for some time. So what's next? I decided to visit my cabin in order to collect my phone. I don't know where to find myself today, but having a watch is always useful. Though having a wrist watch would be much easier. Suddenly I heard a different tune which was cutting through the usual noise of the camp. I listened to it carefully. It sounds like an electric guitar. 3 repeating chords, no more, but the melody still felt somehow warm, as if the vacuum-tubed audio amplifier was used. Could there be such a luxury here? The sound was definitely coming from somewhere near the stage area. I wonder who that could be. I should go take a look. Who cares? I better keep looking for answers. We'll go look. Coming to the stage area, I caught sight of Elisa on stage. The girl was giving it her all with her eyes closed. She placed one of her legs on top of the speaker and was swaying with her body with the rhythm of the music. I couldn't recognize the melody, but I was pretty sure that I'd heard it before. Probably something from Soviet rock. If I had it, I could have named a dozen bands in this genre right off the bat, but I was hardly an expert. The song seemed really simple, literally a 3-chord progression. Possibly even I could have played it, given some practice. I wonder where Elisa got her playing skills. In the USSR, such music has never been nationally acclaimed. The future rock star wasn't taking any notice of me. It was like she was trying to become one with the music, to resound in every note, every bar, and every triplet. Rock heroes of the 80s instantly came to mind. Many of them were devoted to the music in a similar way. If she got dressed in something more suitable for that period's fashion instead of her pioneer uniform, nobody would have noticed the difference. Her performance was coming to an end. Picking out the last couple of chords, Elisa finally noticed me. Do you like it? She doesn't seem surprised, as I would have expected. Yeah, that was cool. As if you could do any better, Elisa smiled slyly. I'm not saying that I could do better. I'm not pro in music. No doubt. Yep. I don't know what to tell her next and was heading on my way. Wait a minute. What? You heard about the evening dance party? I thought it was a ball. Ball, dance party, what's the difference? She frowned. Yes, I did. So what? Are you gonna go? After throwing those words, she turned away. I'm not sure. And you? What am I gonna do there? Watch a herd of morons? There was some truth in Elisa's words, but this open disrespect surprised me. It's clear that it's not the idea of the ball that she hates. But why? What do you mean, why? Well, why don't you want to come? Dance parties ought to be fun. Do you really think so? Annoyance flashed in her words. I don't know, but I thought that you would. Never liked them, she interrupted me. There's absolutely nothing to do at such parties. I see. So what's your plan then? I asked just to keep the conversation going. I'll just carry on practicing. What are you practicing? The song, dumbass. You even heard it. Lisa had finally gone mad. A few more wrong questions and I might have to run for my life. Who wrote that song? I did. So you wrote it all by yourself? By myself. Cool. An awkward silence hung in the air. Okay then. Don't you want to listen? Didn't I just hear it? That's not what I meant. She pouted. The whole song. It's just a jam for now. Aw, come on, do it then. Not right now. Well, don't do it then. I felt uncertain about what she wanted from me. You mean you don't want me to play? It seems like I frustrated her. I got ready for her to smash the guitar on my forehead or something even worse, but it was only an upset expression on Elisa's face. I want to, I told you. Come here tonight, I'll play it for you. For me? How cute. Tonight is the dance party. You said you wouldn't go. I didn't say that. Frankly speaking, I didn't want to go, but messing around with Devja was no good either. Ugla wouldn't like it. Screw her, said Elisa, getting steamed up. Okay, I'll come. No, I won't. Sorry. Oh, we could get in trouble. I don't know when the dance party is in comparison to when we have to help the nurse. But we'll go anyway. Between the shame at the dance party and Devachevskaya's mad guitar skills, I'd rather pick the latter. Good boy. She smiled at me strangely. I was just wondering if the decision I made was the right one when I was suddenly interrupted by a ringing calling the pioneers for lunch. I looked towards the canteen. I suppose it's time to go. Hunger is a sharp thorn. I turned around with an intent to call Lisa to come along, but she looked so cheerless and down. Every musician should know when it's time to leave, I grumbled under my breath. Who is marching forward in a row? It's our pioneer squad. The pioneers in a row actually marched to the canteen in the Slavyanok camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, like what happened before, so I can just eat in peace. And for that, I have to not be the last one to come. But I was pretty sure whatever happens here happens whether I want it to or not. The canteen was crammed as full as an egg. Ugla was standing near the entrance, guarding it like a hawk. Well, Simeon, are you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done. And the hardest is yet to come. I just bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed to the table next to the pillar. Slavia, Uliana, and Lena were already sitting there. Not bad company, at least not the worst. I got my meal and went up to them. Do you mind if I sit here? I caught myself sounding a bit clueless, but there was no other free places anyway. No, of course not. Please do. Lena remained silent. Today the meal consisted of a plate of borscht, which I suspected there was some kind of meat lurking in it, but I had no evidence. Some poultry, chances are Chickenus domesticus, and fried potatoes with a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to the conclusion that I have no other choice, which means there's no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat. Coming to the ball tonight? I don't know. Though I already had my arrangements with Elisa. He'll come, he's got nowhere to go, Uliana said happily. You will come for sure. Of course, I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool of yourself. She got it right, so I decided not to reply. And what about you? I asked Lena. Yes, she replied briefly. See, you should go then too, said Slavia as if leaving me no choice. Don't forget to wear your tailcoat. Apparently Uliana was so pleased with her joke that she laughed out loud, but I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and my winter clothes, which would be inappropriate even in the evening. What will you be dressed in, entertainer? Secret. Will it be a little dress just like in a kindergarten's matinee? Uliana turned red, and it looks like I managed to offend her. No, I will wear a biohazard suit just so I can't catch an infection from you. I wonder what kind of infection you're afraid of catching from me. Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Idiocy, of course. It looks like Ilyana was highly pleased with her as she thought brilliant answer again. You know, if you already have the flu, you can't catch a cold. The two can play at that game. What are you implying? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I looked away slyly. Do you mean that... She went red again. I don't mean anything. Guys! Given that it was Lena who interfered, it was probably time to stop. You're asking for it. You're gonna get it. What? You'll finally wise up? Instead of replying, Ilyana grabbed her plate filled with borscht and tipped it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little... She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. What now? I can't just smash her head into the table. This platypus lasted a few seconds. Suddenly, Ilyana skillfully grabbed a glass full of compote and splashed it in my face, and then she managed to get free of my grip. She dashed off towards the counter, and I chased her. This resulted in several flipped tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 pioneers crippled by various injuries, and full exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw, with too much belligerence. We stood before each other, breathing heavily. Tell me you won't behave this way again. And you? Olga snuck up on us from behind. When you think about it, it's such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you two satisfied with yourselves now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was about to explode. And who's gonna clean up this mess? Exactly what happened. Who? I'm asking you, who? Him, replied Ilyana with complete confidence. Her, I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader brought a conclusive end to this ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame was more than hers, though Ilyana didn't have a drop of guilt in her face. Beat it. I'm not cleaning. I ain't got no time for that. This is his fault. He started it first. No, it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. I'm not going to sort out that nonsense. Simeon, go grab a mop, a bucket, some cloths, you know, the kind of stuff in the closet. And as for you, she looked at Ilyana with a burning gaze, and I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You! Start to pick up the broken tableware immediately. Ugla took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly, a perfect idea flashed into my head. Why didn't I just run away? Sure, Ugla had caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about. In comparison to Ilyana, anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like I have nothing better to do than clean up the mess here. I have to seek answers. The truth is out there somehow flashed through my mind. Run away, stay and help Ilyana clean up. We're gonna run away, 'cause we're mean. The solution came out of thin air. While Ugla was scolding Ilyana, I snuck to the exit. Thank goodness it was nearby. Slipping outside, I hesitated for a few moments and ran into Electronic. He looked like he was working till late at the club. Where's the fire? Fire? My shuttle is leaving in 10 minutes. What? Hey, wait! Electronic's words hung in the air behind me. I ran off towards the square. It's definitely not the best place to hide. Indeed, in the state of stress or fatigue, I frequently started to talk to myself. Well, not really talking, but rather mumbling under my breath. It helps me concentrate and find the right solution quickly. Okay, where's to next? Where should I go? The best place would be one with the least amount of people. Consequently, my way lies in the woods. Half a minute later I was already relaxing, sitting on a stump near the forest trail. That was one hell of a getaway. I hope that will teach Juliana to behave. Indeed, she's not a child anymore. Well, sad but true. Not a child anymore. Now a thought crossed my mind. I might have sort of mishandled the whole situation. A fair share of that broken tableware was because of me. Moreover, one might mention that I didn't have to engage in that mess at the beginning. It got me thinking. How's the weather? Slavia stood right before me. How does she manage to sneak up unnoticed? Thank goodness it's not Ugla. Fine. Those are the only words I managed to squeeze out of myself. I thought I'd find you here. Why? I'm not sure, it's just... She looked up at the sky. There are fewer people around here. Does Slavia really think that I have some sort of social phobia? On second thought, she actually had a good reason to think so. And what are you doing here? Looking for you. She smiled again, but this time her smile looked a bit different, a little friendlier, I guess. Me? Why? Can't you guess? I braced and prepared for the harsh lecture. I understand that you're guilty to a lesser degree than Uliana. Now the camp leader's assistant was defending me. I felt even more pathetic. Damn, get serious. We're not playing bad cop, good cop here. But if I grant that you aren't going to help her, you can at least help me. Saying that, Slavia looked up at the sky yet again. I wonder what she's looking for up there. What do I need to do? We have to reorganize the books in the library. That's way better than disciplinary enslavement together with Uliana. And anyway, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm at your service, mademoiselle. Or madame. She laughed. Then follow me, monsieur. In a couple minutes we were at the library. All the way I kept looking around in fear of meeting Ugla. It seems like Slavia didn't notice my anxiety. And still, it's quite odd for her that she hasn't scolded me. Well, if we're continuing our analogy, Slavia is definitely the good cop. When we went inside, gleaming sunlight streamed through the windows of the library, the myriad of dust particles dancing in the beams. This is a special library dust with that distinctive smell that you can never confuse for anything else. These microscopic pieces of moribund collects in the works of Marxism, Leninism classics. That's interesting. Does the dust near the fiction shelf smell similar to the dust near the books on physics and chemistry? You start with those rows. Slavia pointed to the bookshelf near Lenin's sculpted head. Okay, but what exactly do I have to do? Just remove the books from the shelves and put them on the floor. We'll dust them and then we'll put them back. By looking at all this dust, reading is hardly the pioneer's favorite activity. Any idea where Xenia might be? Don't know. She probably went somewhere strange. It appeared that there were just two places in the world that one could meet Xenia, the library and the canteen. I got into gear. I guess I've never handled so many books at one time in my entire life. Anyway, I'm much more used to reading from a computer screen or a tablet. Finally, there's no need to pay for electronic books, and secondly, you cannot find everything in its printed form. How's it going? Asked Slavia, standing behind the bookshelves. It's okay, going little by little. Have you read anything about that? About what? Well, about communism. Nah, I'm kinda more into historical books and adventures. Me too. Well, historical literature wasn't exactly my favorite, but the class struggle under socialism was definitely no match for it. Hey, don't hold a grudge against Juliana. I don't. Indeed, I felt that my ego had mostly recovered from the incident at the canteen. Besides, I managed to cleanse myself of lunch leftovers in the forest lake. It's not like she's doing it all out of spite. Out of spite or not, one should think through one's own actions. Whatever. I kept moving around dozens of books written by people totally unknown to me. I'm gonna forget who they are in a minute, and I'll never get to know what they were writing about. That's the doom of many writers, to become a forsaken set of letters in a hardcover on a bookshelf in the library of a non-existent pioneer camp's reality. Have you finished? Yeah, I think so. Me too. Okay, let's do it this way. I'll wipe them down and you can put them back on the shelves. But I don't remember what order they were placed in before. It's okay, nobody reads them anyway. It looks like she has a smile for every occasion. A couple of times I've noticed slight differences, shades of emotion in that smile, joy, happiness, sadness. But these shades were so evanescent that I wasn't really sure that I wasn't imagining things. This time her smile looked a little flirty. Yeah, probably. At least I wouldn't be reading this stuff. Slavia was wiping the covers with a damp cloth, and I was putting the books back on the shelf. We were a good team. Our job was almost done. Why didn't you take anything from the upper shelves? Upper shelves? I looked up. Sorry, I hadn't noticed them. It's all right. Wait a moment. I'll bring the chair. Even with my rather considerable stature, I wouldn't be able to get them. I stood on a chair and proceeded to remove the books from the shelves and pass them to Slavia. After a while, there were only about a dozen books left on the farthest end of the shelf. It looked to me like it wouldn't be hard to reach that far. I had always been the type to take a larger bite rather than biting twice. And taking that bite without moving the chair under me became a fatal error. Oh. Opening my eyes, I found myself on top of Slavia. Are you alive? I got the fright of my life. Even if I'm only 17 now, falling off a chair onto a girl is something else. I'm fine. Her face was only an inch away from mine. Anything broken? I don't think so. You'd make a rather bad stuntman. She laughed. You bet. I looked into her eyes. Just looked. I wasn't sure what to say. And Slavia either hesitated too, or just let me take the lead. At this rate, something might happen. Her lips were so close to mine. A natural desire started to awaken my body. But was it right? I had the urge to stand up, but wasn't able to do so. Slavia was just laying in silence and looking at me straight in the eyes. All of a sudden, I noticed a bell ringing on the edge of my hearing. It's dinner time. Yeah. Shall we go? Or shall we just lie here more? She smiled again, and this time her smile seemed foxy to me, as if she was hinting at something. Let's go. I didn't move an inch. Well, if we're gonna go, you'll need to get up first. Obviously. I felt as if some invisible force was holding me in place. Slavia seemed to recognize that too, and carefully slipped out from under me. Are you going to stay there? She laughed. At that point I finally came to my senses and stood up. I'm sorry. That's okay. But we haven't finished it all. We'll have to clean up the rest later. Yeah, sure. I stayed silent all the way to the canteen. Slavia rambled about her life at the camp, but given that it was indeed a monologue, I wasn't paying much attention. Coming to the canteen, I saw Ugla on the porch. Don't you have some explaining to do, young man? I remember what it was that I'd forgotten. Nope. How's your cleaning duty? Good enough. That's not what Ilyana told me. It was all her fault. What did I tell you? I ordered you to clean it up together. What were you doing? I didn't know what to say, as deep down I knew she was right. Don't blame him. Simeon was helping me at the library. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's great and stuff, but to cut a long story short, you won't get dinner tonight. How's that? Why? I protested. Or my protest looked more like a demand for a refill at the prison mess hall. Bold and daring, but still stupid and counterproductive. Hopefully it'll teach you a lesson. At that instant, Ula looked more like an ancient Roman legionnaire commander than a tiny pioneer camp leader. I had no idea how to oppose her. Forgive him, and hold me responsible. The camp leader took her time to think it over. Alright, if you say so. Thanks. Thanks. We hurried inside. Well, I'm gonna join the girls. I had a prior arrangement. Take care. She smiled and waved her goodbyes. Seriously, where would I be without her? There were no free spaces near Slavia, and besides, I hadn't been introduced to her friends. It seems that I would have to share a dinner table with Electronic and Shurik. There were no more places to sit. What's happening, gentlemen? Every time I had to deal with them, I got an itching desire to tease them, or at least drop some cheeky or cocky banter. It might be too risky to behave that way, but the Electronic brothers were my primary source of positive emotion. How are you doing? Fine, how about you? Hit and misses. Did something happen? Lots of stuff. Mind sharing? Nah, some other time maybe. Suit yourself. He made a helpless gesture. We're going to the ball after dinner, Electronic giggled. I know that. Who would you want to ask out? I hadn't thought about it yet. What about you? Well, It seemed that question caught him off guard. Ask Ileana, that would make her happy. No thanks. Ileana furiously waved his hands. And you, Shurik? You gotta ask Elisa. Thanks, I'll pass. He looked calmer than his mate. Oh, come on, guys, it'll be fun. And in any case, we've got things to do. We still have to finish the robot. Oh, that's a marvelous idea. Ask your robot out. Can it dance? It can't even walk yet. Shurik probably missed the point completely. Why, it would be a great demonstration of our achievements in front of the camp. And what would we show them? Yeah, you're right. They both stared at their plates disappointedly. Dinner was over, and the pioneers started to disperse. What will you wear for the ball? I asked Shurik and Electronic. We don't have anything special to wear. We just go as we are. He indicated to his pioneer uniform. They don't seem to care about their appearance at all. Well, why should I care then? Wearing my winter clothes isn't an option, so I'll just go like this. When does it start? After 9 o'clock. Got it. I left the canteen and deeply inhaled the fresh evening air. I remembered those rare dances I used to go to at school. Hesitation, insecurity, even fear. I couldn't dance. I didn't know how to react if someone had invited me. I wouldn't care to invite someone myself. All in all, I felt pretty uncomfortable about it, and it wasn't even more unpleasant to watch others having fun. It wasn't envy. It was more like a disconcerting feeling that people were able to enjoy something so odd for me. I thought that there was a lot of time till the ball, and I could sleep a little to be fresh in the evening. Entering the camp leader's cabin, I flopped on my bed and instantly shut my eyes. Strangely enough, I got up right on time without an alarm. The clock was showing 9, such a rare thing to happen. I felt sluggish, though. Probably wasn't the best idea to sleep during the day, after all. I'm gonna go see Elisa instead of the dance, so it's time then. But I agreed to help Lena, So what should I do now? So we can go to Elisa or go to the dance party. We'll go see Elisa. A few minutes later, I approached the stage. Maybe it was a bad idea accepting her offer. Just talking to Lisa means danger. On the other hand, I wasn't eager to dance. What can I do there? I'd only disgrace myself. No, I'm better off listening to Elisa play guitar. Coming closer, I saw a person sitting on the edge of the stage with their legs dangling. So you came after all! Elisa put the guitar aside and jumped to the ground. There was even a trace of joy on her face for a moment. Playing for someone is surely more interesting than being alone. As you can see, what are we gonna do? What do you mean, what? I'm asking you. Well, I got a sudden idea that the situation is one of her usual pranks and I should never be expected to hear any guitar songs. I'm going to bed, bye. I turned around and waved a hand intentionally slowly. Hey! Elisa grabbed my sleeve. What? Don't you want to listen? Listen to what? You yourself don't know what you're gonna do. Of course I know. She took the guitar and hit the strings with a plectrum a couple times. Sit next to me. I didn't object, and in that moment I was sitting beside her. It's better this way. Miss the dance? Leave now, and then what would I do? The role of a stranger was more suitable for a passive observer and not for an eager seeker of answers, but I wanted to be so badly. So, I'll show you how to play this song now. Just like that? Right away? What do you mean, right away? I haven't held the guitar in a long time. She could probably guess how long it had been since I held one. My skills were enough to make the cat laugh. It's not difficult. I threw an intense look at Elisa. It distinctly seems to me that she can't express her feelings. She could lose her strange self-control for a moment, and I could see a casual and even funny and friendly girl. And then her self-confidence and impudence turned back on, and it was bitchness as usual. Which is the real one. Hey! What? Stop daydreaming! Oh yeah, sorry. So, are you watching? I am. What song is this? The one I played this morning, of course. Oh, okay, I'm listening. Elisa made up her mind and started to play. That's it. Did you get everything? I may have understood it, but I probably wouldn't be able to replicate it. How shall I put it? It's okay. Practice makes perfect. She was undoubtedly right on this point, and if I had problems with practice in my life, well, I took the guitar from Elisa and tried to play the first chord. It was hard, as if my fingers were tied in a knot, and it didn't want to be in the right place. I used to be better before, but I wouldn't even be able to play Twinkle. But now I wouldn't even be able to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Well, wait a moment. It looks like you won't be a rock hero, she laughed kindly. It may be better this way, I hissed vainly, trying to remember the order of the strings to press. Well, the guitar started to make devilish sounds resembling the groans of a wounded dinosaur. My left fingers constantly missed the right frets, and my right hand didn't strike in rhythm. Let's call that progressive rock. Progressive? Well, give it back. She took the guitar away, and it sounded completely different in her hands. I felt so embarrassed by my clumsiness for a moment. Elisa's skill may not be on the level of professional guitarists, but nevertheless she played simple things with confidence. She must have a lot of practice. Did she get it this time? She finished and offered the guitar to me. Well, I did better the second time, but I was still a long way from Elisa's level, from any decently adequate level. I was aware of how totally worthless I was compared to her. It seemed so simple, just play a song with 3 chords. The tune is too simple, though. I put the guitar aside. Elisa was lost in thought for a moment. Even a preschool kid could play it better. Thanks. I tried. So I noticed. She was trying to demonstrate her evident superiority at playing guitar. It's not like everyone can be a musician. Not really. Elisa looked up at the sky. Though you can't be one, that's for sure. Why is that? You should have heard it yourself. I started to regret coming here. Well, don't mind me. Why does Lisa need to do this? It's obvious that I'm a horrible guitarist. Obviously, but if I had some practice. So you will practice? I don't know, maybe I will. The guitar was the least of my problems, though. I'm stuck in a strange world I can't escape from. That's even more important than a stupid argument with Elisa. I suddenly felt an annoying self-pity, apathy, and an urge to leave this place, to forget this evening. Those feelings left a nasty impression and a burning desire to do or say something stupid, as if it would change anything. What? Me learning to play guitar. You surely couldn't. You'd strum the guitar for a couple days and give up. Elisa's words pierced my heart. You know what? Oh well, what would she know? It's not any concern of hers. I'm reacting this way because it's true, and it's Elisa who spoke that truth. You can't know how to do everything. Probably not. But you should be able to at least do something. So you're saying that I can't do anything? How should I know? You know, I what? Should I tell her about my computer skills? Or about the books I've read? Or the movies I've watched? Oh, well, this is a pointless conversation. That goes without saying. You're only concerned with having fun. And you want to do nothing but whine. Forget it. I jumped down from the stage and walked away from the concert area. Go, then. I heard Elisa yelling to me. I'm already going, I hissed. The path led me back to the square. There was Slavia at the center of it, sweeping the area. Oh, Simeon, hi. I thought everyone was already asleep. No, what are you doing? Cleaning up after the ball. Why didn't you come? Where have you been? I hadn't the slightest intention of telling Slavia how I embarrassed myself on stage with the guitar in front of Elisa while the whole camp was having fun in the square. I took a walk. Okay, but you should have come. It was fun. Glad you enjoyed yourself. I'd been sweating like a pig today because of my worries, or just a hot night. Hey, do you know where I can have a bath? Certainly. Go straight. And then a bit to the left on the path, and then right, and then there's a bathhouse. Should I accompany you? No, no need. I'll find it myself. I totally didn't want to burden her more. I walked along the forest path in the direction Slavia showed. My whole body was itching. How did I not notice it before? And more importantly, what else hadn't I noticed? If things keep going like this, then I'll have to stay in this world forever. I shivered at the thought. Probably at the idea that I didn't feel any terror or even just fear. It's like it's the natural flow of things. I could see the bathhouse behind the trees. And why do the pioneers have baths here? Lugla had said something about repairs to the showers, though. No reason to worry about it now. There was soap and clean towels, so I quickly washed myself and went outside and breathed in a chest full of the fresh night air. It's so wonderful that physical cleanliness brings spiritual cleanliness. All of my problems, if not went away, then at least became less important. It was like the water washed away not only dirt from my body, but also the anxiety from my mind. I started yawning, so I headed to the leader's cabin, rubbing my eyes. It didn't even take a few steps before Elisa jumped out of the bushes. What are you doing here? I was just washing myself. She came to her senses and spoke again. And what? How should I know? Then why do you speak if you don't know? All the peace in my mind vanished in a moment, and only the irritation and weariness remained. Okay, well, if you don't mind, wait, now what? If back there on the stage you thought that, well, I didn't want to offend you or anything, it's okay, I'm not offended. I just can't play the guitar. Nothing special. A lot of people can't. I felt as if there were obvious signs of irritation in my voice, but I couldn't do anything about it. I wanted to say everything to her face, right here, right now. Exactly, you can't. Elisa obviously restrained herself from laughing. Oh, I've already had enough of you. She totally drove me out of my wits at that moment, and in another second I would have to start to yell at her, or worse. Wait, would you just leave me alone? Elisa followed me, but didn't try to stop me. I really didn't want to offend. Some invisible power made me turn around. Okay, can I go now? Yes, of course. In the moonlight, Elisa looked very beautiful and briefly guilty, with a brief, guilty expression on her face, as if she could keep her mouth shut. What are you smirking at? Although, nothing. I just thought that if you were only a little more polite. Then what? I shouldn't say such things. People could get ideas depending on their intellectual abilities. Then nothing. You should finish what you started. There's nothing to finish. I'm very tired. I'm going to sleep. Stop right there. Don't make me run away from you. As if you could. She may be right. I'm already exhausted from this day, and naturally I had no intention of running after a bath. So what? What? If only I could be more polite. Then what? Try it. You'll see. Why should I do anything for a fool like you? Then don't try. What does it have to do with me? I sighed and dragged myself to the square. And what about you, then? What? I replied without turning to her. Well, if I would, then you... I don't know what you're talking about, but I think that I would if it was easier for you. Moron. Elisa yelled at me and headed to the bathhouse. The square shined with the cleanliness of a German road, which were washed with shampoo, or so people said. That's Slavia for you. I just argued with Elisa and nothing else. What for? As if it was really necessary, and her behavior. In any other situation I would have surely said that Elisa likes me and just hides behind her rudeness. It's not important right now, though. Relationships, love, anything. Maybe she isn't even human, and what if she was human, and what if this was happening in the real world? I drove those thoughts away and headed to the leader's cabin. Tiredness overwhelmed me. It was like an invisible obstacle stopped me in the front door. Uglo certainly would like to know where I was and why I missed the dance. I'll get a full interrogation for sure. Counting the absence of Elisa at the dance, too, it wouldn't be hard to guess that we skipped together. On the other hand, I should tell her that instead of going to the dance, Elisa practiced playing guitar and I just went along with the flow. Nothing special, actually. It doesn't really matter why I left, so at the same time I thought it would be better to keep silent. Well, I'll just decide on the spot. I sighed and pulled the door handle. Uglo was waiting for me wearing a dress. So, Simeon, where have you been? I tell her that you've been with Elisa, make up another excuse. We'll tell her we've been with Elisa. To tell the truth, I was at the stage with Elisa. And what did you do there? Played guitar. Okay, that's not important. Why didn't you come to the ball? Well, frankly speaking, I don't like dancing. So what? It was a camp public event, which means every pioneer should attend. She looked at me intently. You could just sit somewhere quietly. I'm sorry, I sighed. Okay. The leader softened. Go to bed, quickly. The storm had passed. I tossed and turned but couldn't sleep. My head was full of thoughts about music, guitars, and Elisa. I wonder, could I become a professional musician? And do I even want to be one? Why should I want to? It certainly would be pretty fun, but nothing else. Or is Elisa the reason? She really is like an energy vampire, sucking all your juices. My eyes started to close and I fell asleep moments after. So that is the end of day 3 for this game. I hope that everybody liked it. Ooh. Well, it looks like day 4 is going to be pretty exciting with the alarm going there. I hope that everybody enjoyed this. If you did, you can leave a like and subscribe, and you can comment below if you have any questions or if you have anything else you wanted to say. And I hope that everybody has a nice day.